Hey guys, I hope you're all having a great week. For this module 3, I learned a lot about social media and the internet and YouTube and different things like that. I never knew that the internet was so complicated and there are so many things out there that I have no idea about. So the first thing about watching these videos is when I was a kid, the internet was always there and we always had it, and I never really paid much attention to how little information was on the internet at first and how basic it was, and there wasn't a whole lot of like content to it. And then over time it just grew and grew and grew into something that we have today, where everyone's main goal is to share as much information about everything and anything as possible and have easy access. And that's like the main goal of the internet now, is having good information and having it easily accessible, and all over the world too, not just in certain places. So if you have a question, I mean, you can find an answer within seconds. So that's amazing that the internet has gone from just kind of text content to pictures, videos, blogs, us communicating through YouTube and that kind of thing. I found Professor Wesch's video extremely eye-opening, to be honest. We see YouTube videos and we watch YouTube videos and we don't ever really think, oh, there's a lot of content in between, like what's happening personally between the person speaking and the camera. We don't ever think, this is kind of weird to watch them, but it's like we watch them and we enjoy watching them, and I never noticed that I don't feel the outside pressure versus if I had been sitting in front of them listening and watching them. It takes away a little bit of awkwardness with personal interactions. Right now, when I posted my last video, I found someplace quiet and someplace private, so I wasn't sitting out in the kitchen like I am now with my family staring at me and listening, basically talk to myself. So I took some of what they discussed in that video with Professor Wesch and applied it to this video, just to kind of see how it would make me feel. And it's pretty uncomfortable and awkward to be sitting here talking to you all, but you're all not here. So I'm like basically talking to myself about my thoughts and feelings, and like that's what the YouTube, I feel like, is about now, is people just out there sharing their thoughts and feelings and ideas, and they're in kind of like a private confessional, but it's on the most public stage. And I think that's a very interesting social aspect and quality that we have going for us today. As a future teacher, I could see us using this just like we are right now with kids. A lot of kids have laptops or iPads or iPods or whatever, and they can record themselves and their thoughts and their feelings and share them with their class or just with the teacher. It would be kind of like a private diary type thing, but instead of having to write it and worry about writing, they can just express themselves openly on camera. So that's kind of an interesting thing that you can use the webcam and this for. Another thing is recording yourself and posting yourself for your students to watch if they miss school. A podcast, an educational podcast that I found was the TED Talks. I really enjoy TED Talks because you can find amazing people with so much knowledge talking about their passions and the things that are interesting or that they're interested in, and the knowledge, and they can share that with you. So the one I picked was parenting and overparenting, and how you can't overparent because you squash so much inner drive and inner passion and inner curiosities if you overparent and are super strict. So it was kind of about exploring oneself and letting kids be kids and have free time and be creative, and not give them such a roadmap to, you're gonna be in this school, you're gonna be in these classes, you're gonna be getting these grades, you're gonna be in all these extracurricular activities so you can go on to college. And it's less rigid, and how important it is to have kids be less rigid nowadays because everyone is so scheduled and so busy. I don't think that Facebook, Twitter, any of the social applications like Instagram and things should be used in a school setting. I think when you're at school, you need to be interacting with your peers and getting that social interaction and having the physical contact with other people and communicating and those types of things. I think those types of skills are definitely needing to be learned in school and with your peers. You can't just be behind a computer all the time. Yes, there's a lot of information, there's a lot of world in the laptop and in the computer and in social media, but you need to be able to touch it and feel it and look at it and experience all of that. And I think having Facebook and Instagram and all of those types of things in the school setting is just kind of a distraction. And it also, I feel like, would lead to more bullying, more cyberbullying. Like if I was sitting at a computer and another student was sitting at a computer, like instant messaging, we could be instant messaging each other and one kid bullying another and that type of thing. So I think by keeping that type of stuff out of the K-12 setting environment, we eliminate distractions and bullying, and we promote real social interaction with real people. For my podcast, I used Reddit. I'm not 100% sure that I enjoyed that. It was pretty complicated for me to figure out how to post, and I'm not 100% sure that I did it right. And it was kind of hard to find articles that, I don't know, were interesting to me. So I'm not a big fan of the Reddit and the social bookmarking. I feel like if I was really big in trying to get kids to go to specific articles or podcasts or websites or whatever, it might be a tool, but it probably wouldn't be my first tool that I would access through that, just because there's so much content and you could just get lost in all of that knowledge and world. So those are just kind of some of my thoughts on this module, and I hope everyone has a good week next week. Thanks.